Acting Homeland Security Chief Kevin McAleenan says separating families at the border is not on the table in an interview for this Sunday's 60 Minutes. According to the Department of Homeland Security, up to 3,000 children may have been separated from their families because of President Trump's now discontinued zero-tolerance policy. McAleenan told Sharon Alfonsi he regrets the way the policy was carried out.
I think when you lose a public trust in a law enforcement initiative and you have to recalibrate at the presidential level, that means that wasn't successful.
Looking back on it, did it work?
So the enforcement of the law against parents who violated our border laws and brought children with them was effective. It reduced the flow. But it didn't work in the sense that we lost the public trust.
There needs to be a follow-up, certainly, to that soundbite. All right, in our Separated and Counting series, we are focusing on families who were broken apart at the border and are coming together again. Last week, we brought you the story of a man who reunited with his son in Arkansas after nearly a year. This morning, Manny Bojorquez brings us another emotional reunion. He introduces us to two brothers, originally from Honduras, who were brought back together in New York. Listen to this, after 183 days apart.
At Newark International Airport, a nervous and excited Junior Olvera stepped off the plane from Houston 6 months to the day after being separated from his 8-year-old brother Andy.
He's like a son to you.
Sí.
Junior has been raising Andy on his own for the last 5 years. The two brothers, hoping to seek asylum, arrived at a border crossing in McAllen, Texas on October 17th after a nearly 1,500-mile, month-long trip by bus from El Progreso, Honduras. The next day, Andy was taken from his 21-year-old brother, who is not considered his legal guardian.
Como yo era mayor y él menor, teníamos que estar separados.
So you're an adult, he's a child. You couldn't be in the same place because you're not technically his father.
It took 15 days before Junior could finally speak to his younger brother. Andy had been placed in a foster care center nearly 2,000 miles away in New York City with other kids his age.
You could barely get through that call. Él estaba llorando. He was crying.
Sí.
Since he was 3, you're the only person he's known. La única persona.
Sí.
Last Friday was the day the brothers had waited 183 days for.
So he doesn't know that it's happening right now. Todavía no sabe que va a pasar ahorita.
Aún no sabe.
So this might be a bit of a surprise for him. Una sorpresa.
Sí, es una sorpresa.
A surprise.
Sí.
Paperwork in hand, Junior walked into the center alone and minutes later walked out with his arm tightly wrapped around Andy's shoulder. Their oversized smiles marked the end of their seemingly endless journey apart.
¿Quién es Junior para ti?
Como papá.
He's like your father.
They never lost hope they would see each other again. And now that Andy is back with his big brother, this soccer fanatic had only one thing on his mind.
What's the first thing you want to do?
Jugar.
You want to play?
And play he did, with Junior finally at his side. For CBS This Morning, Manuel Bojorquez, New York.
We should point out that Junior and Andy are now back in Houston. They are waiting for their court hearing for their asylum case. A date has not yet been set, but I think as Manny Bojorquez's piece of point out, we discuss policy a lot.
Yeah.
We also want to point out the people behind the
Yes.
policy and how they're affected.
Yeah, it's more than just a number, Norah, as we know. That's why I think it's so good to put a face on those numbers.
And what originally caused such upset about this was that U.S. policy was landing on the heads of little children. That's
right.
not something that's
right.
happened before.
And the good news is we'll continue to bring those stories right here on CBS This Morning.